All right, what's going on, guys? So, a little kind of improv thing tonight with the entertainer talking sports. Uh, obviously, uh, big news today about the Giants, and so we thought we would get together and do a kind of a live interview or a chat tonight. We'll try to keep it right at an hour or so. And but yeah, we're gonna do have us a little a conversation. If you haven't subscribed, and of course I know a lot of you probably already have. If you haven't subscribed to the Entertainer Talking Sports, it's a great.
Sorry,
He's
I'm
got
just
a.
pulling up your chat. I don't mean to get the echo. I'm good now. Sorry.
You good? You're good. Well, there Chris is. So if you guys heard him, there he is. Chris, what's going on, man? For anybody that may not know your channel, do you want to explain to them what your channel is and what it's all about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have different types of channels, but at the end of the day, we're both diehard Giants fans, and yeah, I mean, my channel is more about like breaking news, and obviously I have a lot of opinionated videos as well, but yeah, it's more about news, and yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Giants fan, huge New York sports fan, but I cover the Giants mainly. And yeah, I mean, we've been talking for a couple of weeks and said we should get together. And I said, you know what better time than tonight? Obviously, there's a lot of news going around, whether it be the coaching change, whether it be the Janoris Jenkins thing or whatever else you want to talk about. And yeah, I just I was looking forward to it.
So let's just get right into it. I know you've already made a video today about Janoris Jenkins. I haven't really put my thoughts out there on YouTube yet, so I'm gonna share my thoughts real fast, and I want you just to kind of go along with as we go. Feel free to if you want to interrupt me or anything like that, or just chime in. Feel free to do so. So I don't get offended by a lot of things, and like I'm one of these people that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me kind of deal. I do not like the term retard. I don't like it. It's always kind of it's somewhat bothered me a little bit, but at the same time, like if someone wants to say that's part of their culture or whatever, whatever the case may be, but I personally don't want anybody wearing New York Giants blue that talks like that. You with me on that, Chris, or does it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is my take on the situation. I'll let you keep doing, saying what you want to say. Me personally, obviously, the reason why the Giants got rid of this guy at the end of the day, they were going to cut him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the whole this is just an excuse as to why they cut him. But but if you want to talk about a moral issue here, there is some to that.
Right. No, that's why they cut. I mean, I think they knew they were getting rid of him, and this was kind of an excuse to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, people can say what they want to say. I mean, everybody grew up in different cultures. Some people may say that word is not offensive because that was that's how they grew up. Because we're around the same age. When we were 10, 15 years old, that word wasn't really thought to be an offensive word.
Yeah.
And it's changed. I get, just like, the world's changed. We know that. But at the end of the day, my biggest thing had less to do with him saying that word. It had more to do with the fact, first off, this guy's he's supposed to be a leader. Yeah. Everybody in that secondary is a rookie. He's the veteran in the secondary. He's on his phone during practice.
Mm-hmm.
A week before he went after his coach. Earlier in the season, he went after his teammates. Doesn't name anybody by name, by the way. That's my issue with him, and the lack of accountability. And then his apology felt so unapologetic that I can't get on the Giants for getting rid of this guy at the end of the day. I can't. I think it was the right move.
For anybody that's watching or in the chat, Chris is in the chat as well. So if you want to say hello to him, he will see that. I guess for me, and I'm with you on that about at times have changed. I think for me as a parent, that word has kind of changed for me from an offensive way. When you're pretend, I think if you're not a parent, it doesn't bother you. But when you are a parent and you think about the potentially that, your child may be that before they're born, it scares you a little bit. And I think it takes a special group of people that raise anybody that suffers from that. But here's the thing is Janoris Jenkins is meant to be a leader, like you said. And for him to act this way, and on top of that, in the Cowboy game, when he didn't make an effort to make that one tackle against Jarwin, that was another issue. He has shown no leadership qualities, and he should be a leader on this team. And the fact is, there are younger guys on the roster that have shown more leadership qualities than he has. And I get why people would be upset because we never got to trade him, but he was only going to play 3 more games with this organization anyways.
That's the thing. That's why this really, for all the people that are upset that we cut him, at the end of the day, he was getting cut anyway. He was going to make $15 million next year. We're saving $12 million by getting rid of him. And I'm assuming, I don't know this, I have to do a little more research, but I'm assuming we don't even got to take that dead cap hit now that we've released him due to conduct detrimental to the team.
Well, I know that there's some kind of $1 million or $2 million that we don't have to worry about if another team picks him up. Something like that.
Okay. Well, regardless, like you said, he was gone anyway. And then it just comes down to, this is kind of almost like a political type thing. I don't like to talk politics on my channel, but I just like to always give my honest opinion. And I thought he was out of line. And, the other thing,
I don't even care that I don't care about the apology that he wouldn't apologize. I don't even care about that. It's the fact that it even gets to that point. You're not going to see Tom Brady. You're not going to see any leaders on any team say retard to another fan. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, the fact is, the more successful teams in the league who have leadership or leaders on their team, they're not doing stuff like this. They're not.
Well, and then the other thing, it's what he responded to.
Yeah.
The fan didn't even say anything bad. This guy, first off, let's paint the picture. He's at practice, and first off, I don't know why Pat Shermer lets him have a cell phone, but I'm sure we'll get into Pat Shermer a little bit while at practice. But he's at practice, and he tweets out his statistics as if to say, the way I took that was, these are my stats, I'm playing good, it's not my fault the team's 2-11.
Yeah.
And then a fan responds to him, and he says, all he said was, basically paraphrasing just a tad, those stats have not resulted in wins. And then he does what he does. Like, the fan didn't deserve, if the fan came out and said, you're a blanking moron or whatever, said something derogatory towards Jenkins, put him on blast. He didn't do anything. That was the other big issue for me.
Well, this has something to do with Pat Shermer too, like you mentioned, because I think I heard like a week ago, somebody came out, I can't remember what former player came out and said that Bill Belichick doesn't even allow players to have cell phones in the facility. They're meant to be turned off, or they're not meant to even be looked at during meetings or anything like that. So this is such a lack of leadership on so many different levels that our organization that we root for has turned into a damn circus. And it is honestly sad to sit here on the sideline and watch this thing continue to play out. And it seems like it's getting worse and worse and worse. And there's nothing that seems to be any. I only know a handful of positive things to take from this season. And you would think that at this point, well, the season's getting ready to wrap up, can't get any worse, and then it just keeps getting worse.
It's like a soap opera. This whole season has been a complete catastrophe, and it starts at the top. I made a video on that, and I was surprised at how many people agree with me. Most Giants fans agree with me that John Mara is, in my opinion, the culprit for a lot of these problems. And you can argue some of the things he's done, some of the things he hasn't, but I think it starts at the top. And then the other thing, the mission statement we heard this offseason by the Giants. And I was fine with trading Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham was a headache, and he's proving to be a headache now in Cleveland. But everything you heard, Bizzle, culture. Well, you got a guy now, when you're supposed to have cleaned up the culture, doing this. You got DeAndre Baker saying he doesn't know the playbook.
Yeah.
I mean, it's another storyline every
I've probably put on about 10 pounds. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, because, and I have to be honest with you, I'm not in the mood to move on from Dave Gettleman just yet. Okay, I know that some people are. I'm not. I've kind of bought into what I thought was his plan. Okay, Pat Shermer, on the other hand, I'm done with him. I've moved on. I think he's got 3 more games as head coach for the Giants, and his time is up. Um, but I think Dave Gettleman is going to survive this. I do feel that way. But I did see where there are talks that he could be potentially out, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. I think that this stories like this one coming to the end here, they don't do Dave Gettleman any favors.
Yeah. Well, here's my take on Gettleman. Listen, I want to like Gettleman. I like it. I love his philosophy. He's got an old school philosophy. You build from the lines out. He preached that when he came here, and I love that because that's what I think wins football games. And he's got balls, right? He's willing to do. He doesn't care. He will do what he thinks is the right thing to do to win football games. Now, you might not always agree. He's done a lot of brash things, trading Odell Beckham, drafting a running back second overall, taking Daniel Jones when every expert had him going late in the first round. You may not agree with all of his moves, but regardless, he is going to stand by what he thinks and he's going to do it. And I like that about Dave Gettleman. But here's what I'm going to say. If you plan on bringing a top-tier head coach, this is my worry if I'm the owner of the New York Giants. Is Dave Gettleman going to prevent me from bringing in a top-tier coach? Is he going to scare them away? Because a top-tier coach might look at the situation and be like, I don't want to go to a situation where this guy does things that are off the wall. And that's what I worry about. Plus, obviously, the Matt Rule story I did a video on today basically said that he wants full control if he comes in here. And, you can argue whether or not he deserves that. He's a college coach. But a lot of the top coaches nowadays are going to want that. And a guy like Dave Gettleman isn't going to want to give up that control. So even though I like Gettleman, it's something to think about. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm on the fence on either. I don't know if I want a coach that has full control of the situation like that. I don't know if I would be all about that. I kind of makes me a little nervous. I know Matt Rule is pushing. It sounds like to me that he's pushing pretty hard behind the scenes to be a head coach of the National Football League. I don't know if he has a team in mind, but he's to me he would just be an okay hire for the Giants. I don't love the Ron Rivera, but it sounds like he wants to be with the Bears. But Gettleman has just got to the point here where he has had some things he's hit a home run on. I think moving on from OBJ, I mean Darius Slayton this year has been phenomenal. When he's been healthy, he's been phenomenal, and I think he's made some people forget about OBJ. And
I'm gonna give you credit for that, Pizzle, because I remember you sometimes you're wrong, just like I am. But I'm gonna give you credit for that because I remember you were very outspoken about Slayton even before he took off. You said that you saw a lot of talent in the kid, and I'll give you credit for that.
Yeah, I thought he had. Now I've been wrong before. I used to be a big believer in Janoris Moss, but that never worked out. But I was just a big Darius Slayton guy from the get-go. I watched plenty of games, that he played in college, and just thought that he could step up for us, and he has. And to me, he's made a lot of Giant fans kind of forget about OBJ. That's Gettleman looks like he's won that trade with Cleveland.
Real quick, let's break down that trade. They traded away Beckham.
Mm-hmm.
And they get Dexter Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
They get O'Shane Zimenez, which who knows? Zimenez is hit or miss for me.
Which Dexter Lawrence looks like he's getting better each and every week.
Dexter Lawrence is legit.
Okay, go ahead.
Dexter Lawrence is legit.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm talking about O'Shane Zimenez.
Okay.
And they get Peppers. But the other thing that I think a lot of people don't take into account, they also relieve themselves of $20 million a year on the cap for the next 3 years.
Yes.
So if let's just say hypothetically, I don't expect this. But let's say they sign Clowney in the offseason, which they're not going to, but name a top-tier pass rusher. They sign him for that $20 million. That trade, to me, is essentially I had to guess, get a similar, if they have to trade him, get a similar price to what the Steelers got for Antonio Brown, being that now there's a history of him being a locker room cancer, a guy that forces his way out of situations. The Giants destroyed him that trade.
Yeah, destroyed. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So that was a home run. I know you are a little lukewarm. I think Daniel Jones has a chance next year to be a good quarterback. I do. I think he has. I think he's shown some potential now. He's got some things he needs to work on in the offseason. But you can debate all day, sixth or whatever. But I think that was a good pick. I think he has been, you know, a good pick for the Giants. I don't see why that's a bad thing from Gettleman. I think that moving on from Landon Collins and obviously replacing him with Peppers was a good thing. I was a Collins fan. I mean, I didn't think he could cover anybody, but I wanted to see Landon Collins work out. I think Jabril Peppers played pretty good for the Giants when he was healthy. But as far as some of the draft picks go, those you can debate on all day long. Now, obviously, I have not liked Alec Ogletree, and that's got to get him.
Alec Ogletree, I'm going to be fair. When they made the Ogletree move, I was in favor of it because we've been so deprived of a middle linebacker forever.
Yes.
And when they brought him in, I said to myself, okay, I'm happy about this move, but yeah, that's been a failure. His free agency moves have been bad. Let's be fair. His free agency moves have been bad.
Yes.
Ame was a horrible signing. You go down the list.
I don't get so upset about the Jonathan Stewart one because I felt like that move was to help a rookie running back in Saquon Barkley. To me, I think I like having a veteran near a rookie that can help him with his talents, move on and understand that this isn't college football anymore. This is how you be a pro. Okay. Whether Saquon learned anything from Jonathan Stewart, that I don't know. But I think that was the idea. Did it work? Who knows? But obviously Stewart didn't give us anything on the field.
Yeah, Stewart was a bad signing, but I try to be as fair as I can. I'm going to be fair to Gettleman in the free agency department, even though I feel like he's done a really bad job. He hasn't. I mean, the shoulder, you get on the shoulder too, but at the end of the day, he needed somebody, and that was the best left tackle available.
Well, here's the thing: we're saying good things and bad things about Gettleman. We can at least agree that Gettleman has given us some good things. Pat Shurmur
is not innocent in this whole situation. At the end of the day, he's done some very head scratching. I mean, the draft this year was great. He did a great job in the draft. Like you said, you can nitpick on some picks, the DeAndre Baker pick, but as a whole, great job in the draft. His free agency moves have been mediocre at best. But I can't fully judge him on his free agency because he hasn't really a cap space.
Yes.
Outside of the Nate Solder signing. But like I just said, Nate Solder, how can you get onto that? You had Eric Flowers at the tackle, and Solder was the best tackle out there on the open market.
Yes.
Now, one thing, and I love Saquon Barkley, okay? Saquon Barkley is my favorite Giant. But if we're going to be fair here, Pizzle, and I try to be as unbiased as I can, you can certainly make an argument that if there was a trade to be made, and by all accounts, there's been a lot of rumors that have come out that there were teams, I think Denver offered him 2 firsts, it might have been the better approach to trade down to 5, get a future first-round pick, get a second-round pick on top of that, whatever it would have been, and get yourself a Bradley Chubb or get yourself an offensive lineman there and build that way. You can certainly make that argument, and it is what it is. It's water under the bridge. But overall, the thing I worry about with Gettleman is the effect he could have on a potential hire for a coach. That's what I worry about.
I get that, but what I was getting to was that you can at least say something good about Gettleman. We can both agree that there is something good. Great value pick, for example, Darius Slayton. There are some good trades. The LB trade's good. It's fine. You can say good things. There is nothing good that you can say about Pat Shurmur. Nothing.
Listen, man, I tried to like that guy so much. I've tried so hard, Fizzle. He's a nice guy. I do think he has a good offensive line. He's demonstrated that as an offensive coordinator in his career. But as a head coach, he sucks. Terrible. And I tried to say stability, because I do think, especially when you have a rookie quarterback, that it is the ideal situation not to change coaches in the first year. But at the end of the day, and it's not even just the wins and losses. It's not even just the timeouts at the end of games where I'm like, what the hell are you doing? It's not even just that. It's the control of the locker room. You got DeAndre Baker coming out saying he doesn't know the playbook.
Yeah.
You've got Janoris Jenkins now doing this. It's just a complete. They got to blow it up. They got to get rid of him. They just have to.
Okay, so not to change directions a little bit, but let's talk about something. I think you and I are kind of on. I think you, from watching your stuff, you and I are on the same page, and I've been accused of picking on you when I don't think it's true. You're an Eli Manning guy.
Yes, I love Eli Manning.
I'm an Eli Manning guy. But as you know, there are other giant YouTubers that are not Eli Manning guys. Okay? And I will let those guys be nameless for now. But I think after watching Monday night, and that does mean that Monday night gave me evidence enough that this team would have more wins than just 2 if Eli would have been playing. I'm happy that Eli's going to play Sunday against the Dolphins. I think he should play the rest of the season. I think that Daniel Jones has learned enough this year. I think it's time, if he has any, even if Daniel Jones is 90% healthy, if he is a little bit banged up, let him rest. No need to further do any damage. He's not going to gain any more knowledge. To me, let Eli just finish this thing out. But what do you think about this whole Eli Manning thing here at the end of the year that you haven't maybe said already in a video?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the whole conspiracy thing and all that, I thought that was bogus. When people were saying that,
why do they? I just don't understand. Why do they hate Eli so much? What has Eli Manning ever fucking done to them that made them just absolutely despise him? When
here's what I'm going to say, and it's half our fan base, but here's what I'm going to say about Eli Manning. I just feel from that, obviously we think differently, but from that side of the fan base's perspective, I think people just wanted to move on from Eli and they don't want to see him again. I think that they respect what he did, what he brought this organization, and they want to move on. And they were upset when they had to see him come back on because they think it's going to, I guess they have like worries that Mara will want to keep him on, or you'll have part of the fan base that says, well, look, Eli won us 3 games in the last 4. Maybe he should be the quarterback going next year. I think that's what they're worried about. But I think any rational Giants fan would realize, listen, we just drafted a guy 6th overall.
Mm-hmm.
Eli's under the contract next year. We're not going to stunt the growth of a rookie quarterback in year 2 to please Eli lovers. At the end of the day, I'm a Giants fan. You're a Giants fan. We both love Eli. We respect what he did to this organization. And I'm in agreement with a lot of what you said about Eli. I'm in agreement that he was blamed for a lot of things he shouldn't have been blamed for. He didn't have the supporting cast that Drew Brees had at the end of his career. He didn't have the supporting cast that Tom Brady had at the end of his career. And he got blamed for it because Jerry Reese screwed up this team with bad draft after bad draft after bad draft. Now, I'm not going to say that Eli Manning is not, and there's no, should take no blame. He's the quarterback. And at the end of the day, when the team is bad, the quarterback's going to take some blame. But for people that just said that he was the main reason or the only reason, like that was always wrong to me.
That's what I'm talking about, Chris. It's like Eli went out of the equation for 10 weeks or however many weeks it was. He went out of the equation, right? He's over here drinking Bud Light and eating nachos. Okay, he's gone over here. I mean, it's sad. Every week they show him on camera one time on TV. And there's old sad Eli sitting on the bench, doesn't deserve it, but there he is. Everybody that's an Eli Manning, that hated Eli Manning's guts or blamed him, they get to cheer for those 3 seconds that he's on television. Well, the Giants go on one of the worst losing streaks. Matter of fact, they are on one of the worst losing streaks within a season that they ever have without Eli playing. Okay? Then Eli is implemented back into the lineup against the Philadelphia Eagles. Whether you think they're good or not, we got a lead at halftime here, Entertainer. You know what? We got a 17-3 lead. You can make the argument that the defense just played sensational in the first half, but sure, once again, at the end of the game, like they did every week with Daniel, pretty much, they did it again last week. They tell the quarterback, please save us in the fourth quarter because our defense has once again not only let up a lead, but has let up go ahead something, and now we need you to come save us. And 9 times out of 10, the quarterback, no matter who he is, can't save them. The Giants end up losing a close game like they did a lot last year with Eli. Some of them they won, but this year they outside of the Tampa Bay game, they haven't won those. So
yeah, I mean, here's what I'll say about. I agree with you that we have a better record with Eli. It wouldn't matter. We're still not a good football team. Maybe we got.
No, I agree. I'm not saying we're playoff caliber with Eli, but my point being is, if you thought Eli Manning was the problem, you hopefully at this point have corrected yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I here's what I'm going to, and I love Eli. And this may sound, people might think they're like, really, you think that? I think the Giants did Eli Manning a disservice.
Yes.
When they didn't move on from him in 2017. That's my honest opinion. I think that they were so far away from competing with all those age-free agents. They were in cap hell. They should have blown it up then. They should have traded Eli, given him a chance to compete somewhere else, and started from scratch in 2017. I think that was the mistake, and I think Eli Manning took the heat for it.
Well, I think this, Chris, you could go back as far as maybe, I know they made the playoffs in 2016, but maybe right after that, that had to be either, okay, we're going to make our team either, we're going to have an understanding that our team is going to have an aging quarterback, and so we need to make sure we beef up the offensive line and protect him as best we can, like the Patriots consistently do, protecting Tom Brady, or we're going to have a different philosophy. So in a lot of ways, if you want to make it that case, Eli's last run should have been after that playoff game against the Green Bay Packers. That should have been it for Eli. If it's not it, then you need to make sure you build your team through the draft and maybe even free agency protecting Eli.
I mean, that was the mistake they did. At the end of the day, look what happened. 2015, they've got an old. Let's just call it out. 2015, they've got an all-world offense. Eli had the second most touchdown passes in football. Everybody forgets that. He had a 6-touchdown game, I think, against the New Orleans Saints. He had 35 touchdowns, but the defense sucks. Okay? The offensive line was not that good. So what Jerry Reese does, they blame Coughlin. That was a disgrace that they fired Coughlin and they kept Reese on. The only reason they kept Reese on was because he drafted Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham saved Jerry Reese's job. Period. End of story. Because Jerry Reese put us in the position that we were in. Then the next year, Jerry Reese, who couldn't draft to save his life.
He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do though, Chris. Now that I
holes by signing every high-profile free agent on defense, and then that put us in this situation.
Yes.
It gave us 1 year of competitive football. We still had the same problems we had.
Yeah.
The offensive line still sucked.
Yes.
And he patched up the defense for.
Well, everybody knocks. Not to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Everybody knocks Gettleman for not. They don't understand the plan. Jerry Reese didn't understand the plan. He didn't have a plan either.
I know. That's why I put a lot of this on Mara. People might not want to hear that because I know Mara's a golden name, and but I put a lot of the blame on Mara for not back in 15 for not. He either had to just fire Reese or fire both of them. The fact that he fired Coughlin and kept Reese is the biggest reason why we're where we are right now.
Okay, so do you? How good does it? So for me, I'm excited about. I know. I believe it or not, I'm excited about seeing Eli play again. Do you have those same? Do you have those same feelings at all, or where do you? For me, like I was juiced up Monday night. It felt like a playoff game. Monday night felt like a.
Listen, man, I didn't get a chance to watch your live stream, and one thing I want to say, I know that there's always like beef in the Giants YouTube community. I never want that. I wish that the Giants YouTube community, because I think it's better for the fans. All the people listening here, I think it's great to be able to work with anybody whenever you want. That's just me. But obviously, I couldn't watch your live stream because I was live streaming.
Yeah.
But I was so amped up for that game. Yeah. The juices were flowing because I'm saying to myself, okay, we could knock the Eagles out of the playoffs. Eli Manning's going to the link. He's coming back for one game. And then when he throws that touchdown, the first one, whatever, Slayton breaks the tackle. That's a lot more credit to Slayton. But when he throws that bomb, first of all, he hit Slayton on another bomb before that.
Yeah.
But then he throws the bomb for like 55 yards. I got goosebumps. I was going crazy.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, he still got it.
He still got it.
I'm not saying he's what he was, but I think Eli Manning, he's Drew Brees right now. The difference is Drew Brees plays in a dome, okay? And Drew Brees has a great offensive line. He has a great defense. He has a great running back. Give that to Eli Manning. He can win football games too. That's what I've always preached.
Well, here's the thing.
He's not what he was in 2011, but he can still win games. They failed Eli Manning.
Oh, they failed him. And that's what pisses me off is because there's a younger generation of Giant fans. And you and I mean, don't get me wrong, you and I aren't we're not grandpas here. Okay? It's not like we're 70 years old. But we're old enough that we remember. I mean, when Eli Manning was drafted for the Giants, I was getting ready to finish up my junior year in high school. Okay? He has been the quarterback for the Giants almost half of my life. Okay? Which means I've seen it all. And I can pretty much I've seen it. It's not like I was a little kid when he showed up to the Giants. There's nothing that I don't remember. And ever since he got here, he's pretty much had scrutiny from the get-go. I mean, even before he won his first Super Bowl, they were giving him, they were getting him ready to start, running him out. But then he goes out there and they win a Super Bowl, beat the Patriots, and then they do it again. And to me, Eli Manning, where he found this organization, he's going to leave it in better shape than the way he found it. And I mean that by he's going to leave this organization with 2 Super Bowl rings. He gave the organization two Super Bowls, which is doubling what the organization had before he got there. And you can say the defense was responsible for that, all this and that. Eli Manning was a big part of that. There were years there too. You mentioned 2015. There was a year there that the Giants was the best team in the NFC headed to the playoffs. We just ended up being one and done. I mean, Eli Manning at one point was spectacular. And to me, I sit here and watch Phillip Rivers and say Eli can play better than Phillip Rivers. I sit here and watch Tom Brady, not saying he's better, not saying he career-wise he's better than Tom Brady, but I think he can do just as good as what Tom Brady's doing. I sit here and watch, you mentioned Drew Brees. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think
I'm not saying I'm just saying if he had that same shot, I'm not saying maybe he's not as productive as Brees, but my point is if he was on the Saints, he could win football games.
Yes,
Teddy Bridgewater's not a great quarterback. He was winning.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes. He could. Eli Manning could be on the New Orleans Saints right now and have a lot of fun. He'd have a lot of damn fun because
and the difference and look at Brees. Brees is a perfect example. Only the Saints fixed it before it was too late. Look at the Saints. Drew Brees, they've been great the last 3 years now. Before that, he was putting up empty stats. Every year they won 5 or 6 games for about a 2 or 3 year stretch, and then the Saints fixed it. They fixed the O-line, they fixed the defense, they got Alvin Kamara, and they fixed everything around him. And now they're asking Brees to do less in his older years. He's 40 years old.
Yes.
He is.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Now people forget football is a 53-man sport.
You're exactly right. They're asking.
It's not one-on-one.
They're asking him to do less.
What?
That's perfect. Yeah, I'm fired up with what you said. I thought that was fantastic. You're exactly right. They're asking him to do. Hell, sometimes they let Taysom Hill run the show, take the snap. You know, Drew Brees doesn't even take all the snaps.
They did a great. You know what? I commend the Saints. The Saints did a fantastic job supporting Brees in his older years, and the same thing for the Patriots. And you know, obviously, the biggest reason why the Patriots win is because everybody takes less money, including the quarterback.
Yeah.
But the Giants, yeah, I mean, you could argue that Eli's a part of it because he took the big contract, which kind of, I guess, prevented them from being able to bring in guys to help them. But at the end of the day, failed draft after failed draft after failed draft after failed draft. That's where the problem always lies. And that is why I think a lot of Giants fans are hesitant to let Dave Gettleman go because they see good draft after good draft. Now, if I'm being fair, Gettleman, to be fair, and I know you're a Gettleman guy. I think you are, right? You're pretty.
Well, I'm lukewarm on Gettleman. I'm not. I have one. The train is rolling, and I've got one foot hanging off, getting ready to jump off of it. But I'm still on the train.
All right. Well, let's look at the 2018 draft. If we're being fair, I'll tell you right now. After last year, I said, "Oh my God, this guy's a genius. This guy's great." But let's be fair. He was picking second overall, so I don't give him any credit for the Barkley pick. And like I said, retrospect, maybe it would have been better from the trade down. But I love Barkley. I think he's going to be a leader of this football team for years to come. Good pick. Hernandez, good pick. I'm not even going to go as far to say great. Good pick. Lorenzo Carter's done very little this year.
He's a ghost.
B.J. Hill's done very little this year. Kyle Ouellette is off the team. And R.J. McIntyre barely plays. So I don't think that draft looks nearly as good as it did coming into this year. But this draft, I don't know how you get on it for this draft. Julian Love is playing out of his mind in the 2 games he's played.
Julian Love's best game was Monday night.
He was phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Conley looked great the 3 starts he made before he got hurt. Obviously, Darius Slayton. You could make an argument. Darius Slayton is the best pick in the entire draft based on value.
He might be the number 1 rookie receiver.
For the entire NFL, when you factor in he was a 5th-round pick, and he's putting up the numbers he's got. Think about this for a second, Bizzle. Darius Slayton has 3 games this year where he's got 2 touchdowns. Odell Beckham's got 2 touchdowns for the entire season.
Chris, you ain't got to tell me, brother.
I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah,
So Dave Gettleman has done a very good job this year.
Well, that's why I said you can say some good things about Gettleman. You can. You can't say he. The problem is we live in this culture or this world now where it's all about quick rage or instant reaction, and people instantly react too quickly to what Dave Gettleman does, and they don't let it play out. I wanted to ask you this before we move way off the Eli Manning trade. I want to bring this back to I don't want to go back to Gettleman. I want to ask you one question because I want to ask a fellow Eli Manning guy. Do you care if Eli Manning plays for another what is it going to feel like to you if Eli Manning suits up for another organization next season?
Oh, I'll be. I mean, I want what's best. I mean, obviously, I want what's best for the Giants.
Yes.
What's best for the Giants at this point is to move on from Eli Manning. That's what's best.
Yes, I get that. I understand it. It's always Giants. It's always Giants over players. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Eli's a little bit different. This is not Jeremy Shockey going to the Panthers or.
Oh, come on. Yeah. Eli Manning to me is since I've been watching the team, and I don't go back to the LT days. I always say that.
Mm-hmm.
We're around the same age. So Eli Manning was my guy, right? That was my team. I love a lot of Giants, but Eli Manning was my guy. And I want what's best for Eli. If Eli feels like if there's a situation out there, I don't know if there's going to be, he could go and compete, go do it.
Yeah.
Why would I not root for him to do that?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people want him to go out there and retire a Giant. And if he does, that's great too. He played his entire career as a Giant. But at the end of the day, Joe Montana played, 2-3 years with Kansas City. People remember him as a 49er. Brett Favre played a couple of years with the Vikings and Jets. People remember him as a Packer. If he could go out there and sign on with the Bears or Tennessee or whatever, if there's an opportunity for him to be in a competitive situation, he feels like he can do it, go do it.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. If he's able to do it, obviously, next season I will be balls deep into whatever the Giants are doing. But I think that Giant fans, and like you said, half of them are either, are Eli guys, and half of them are not. The ones that are not, I don't know when they're going to figure it out, but they're going to realize that they didn't appreciate Eli Manning enough. There's going to come a time when they're going to they're going to realize that they took him for granted. I really believe that, and I hope that Daniel Jones can just be half of what Eli was, because if he's just half, that means he can at least get a ring. But I'm not for a minute thinking that Daniel Jones can get us 2 rings.
If Daniel Jones gets me 1 ring, I'll be ecstatic. But
yeah,
let me ask you this: what, in your opinion, in terms of, to me, I don't even ask, to me, the most underrated attribute of Eli Manning's game was his durability.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be there for 16 weeks.
And it's not a knock on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is like everybody else. But look at it already. First year, Daniel Jones has already missed more games due to injury than Eli Manning missed in his entire career. And I think that is one thing that Giants fans 1,000% took for granted. Because Eli Manning, we knew every Sunday he was lining up.
Yeah.
And that to me is one of the most important attributes a quarterback could have. So that is one thing that definitely went underappreciated by a lot of Giants fans.
So let me ask you this now, and we're not, we're just going to go for, like I told everybody, we're going to try to keep this within an hour. We definitely need to do this again, Chris. We definitely need, and for those that don't know, because I've seen some comments, you and I have always been pretty friendly with one another.
I try to be friendly with everybody.
Yeah, you and I have been really good with each other, even behind the scenes. And
here's what I'm going to say about Fizzle. First off, I don't believe in YouTube views. Now, are there times? Yeah, and I know, your thing on YouTube is you like to throw up a little controversy, the TTC and all that. But,
I like to have some fun. I'm just trying to have some fun before I die, Chris.
But obviously, I work with Amanda a lot. I've worked with Billy 500. I've worked with Josh Jonah with Sports Grid, and I love those guys. But at the end of the day, you've always been kind to me, and I always say this: when I first started on YouTube, you were the first guy that reached out to me. That's the truth. I started YouTube a year and 9 months ago, and I came on your channel and I posted a comment, and I think I said something like, I'm starting a channel. That was it. And you said, great. You subscribed right away. And we talked on the phone that day. And we talked for like 2 hours. And you told me everything about YouTube. And you gave me pointers. And I'd never forget that. And I'm always loyal to people that I always feel like had my best interest. And I always thought that you were nice to me. And I think it's good for the Giants community. Giants fans, at the end of the day, yes, they like drama, I guess. But I think it's better if you can hear 2 content creators that you love work together. Or 5, have a roundtable, whatever. I think that's what's best for the Giants community, and I would love to bring that to Giants fans on YouTube.
Well, there's definitely here's what you can't say, or you can't question. You cannot question the Giants fans' love for their team, because I have been on YouTube long enough, and I have seen teams' fans come and go. I remember there was a time when the Seahawks looked like they were going to be, winning the 7 Super Bowls in a row, and you couldn't stop Seahawk fans from me. They were left and right. I remember a time when there was a Redskins group that was on here. That was when the Redskins weren't that bad. They were on here. There's been plenty of organizations that's had their fan bases come and go, and Giant fans, through good times and through now dark times, they're representing, whether it be video content creators or commenters, or people that comment, or just viewers in general. There is an unbelievable showing of Giant fans, and quite honestly, you can say what you want about Giant fans or the Giants community or whatever, but the one thing you can't question is their loyalty. The problem is there's too much losing, and there's too many people giving opinions, and sometimes the opinions are just way off basis. and they're not correct. And Eli Manning's a great example because Eli, this whole problem that's been going on, whether they should have pulled the plug on him, years before, it's not all his fault. It's just not. And when people pile on and make videos or say comments that are so anti-Eli, they're not even thinking about clearly what the real problem is. They're just doing it with an agenda. They're just wanting to be right and say Eli Manning was the problem. And the fact is he wasn't. And there are other good YouTubers out there, Giants ones, that have stayed the course and been right about Eli. And I'm not saying that my opinion's always right. I like to try to be right, but
everybody wants to always be right.
Yeah, but there were people that, for example, that did not want OBJ to be traded, and they said, "Well, this is a terrible thing." And then there were other people, I hate to blow my own horn here, but saying, "Look, Darius Slayton's going to be all right for us." So to me, I think the one great thing about the Giants community, whether they say good things or bad, they're here. And that's the best thing that you can be, win or lose.
Yeah, here's what I'll say about the Giants community since I've been on. I'm talking about not so much the YouTubers, the people that watch our videos.
Mm-hmm.
I could not have picked a worse time to start YouTube in terms of the team's performance.
I know.
and the fact my channel has grown as much as it has in less than 2 years is a direct reflection on the New York Giants fan base.
Yeah.
This team has won 7 games since I've been on YouTube. And my videos, right now we got 2 wins. And I'm getting a lot of views because people care about this football team.
Yes.
And that says a lot about the fan base because a lot of fan bases, when a team is 2-11, check out and they don't care.
Yes. And
that says a lot about New York Giants fans, and I respect the hell out of each and every one of them, whether or not they disagree with my opinions. Anytime somebody says something on me, they say, "Oh, I don't like your take on this," whatever. I'm respectful. I say, you know what? Everybody's got their own opinion, but the fact that Giants fans care so much, even in dark times, says a lot about the fan base.
Well, I had somebody, and I'm not going to say who, but I had somebody accuse me of wanting the Giants to lose so that I could do these ragey post-game videos. And they thought that was better for my views. The reality is YouTube channels, as far as football content creators go, they grow more when the team is winning.
Well, of course.
So your channel doesn't grow. 9 times out of 10, your channel won't grow that big if you're strictly just making videos about that team and your team is suffering. So now if you're someone different that might be doing some reporting stuff, or you're doing more so about other sports and you're bringing that involved, then yeah, your channel can grow from that aspect. But if you're just keeping it about one team and they're suffering, nobody cares about what you got to say anymore because your team's out of it. I'm sure there's plenty of people that come to my post-game video now that I make about the Giants and they say, his team's 2-11. What do I care what he's got to say? And that's just facts. But if it was 11-2, it might be different. So,
but that's what I say. I give a lot of credit to Giants fans for still caring as much as they do, even when the team is where it is.
Yeah. Well, and again, I agree with that. I think Giant fans have always had great representation on YouTube, and it's cool to see because I will say this, I have, that's the one thing I respect about Eagle fans is Eagle fans seem like even when their team's going through bad times, they're still loyal. I can disagree with them and can't stand them, but I do admire their loyalty to their team. So that's cool. But anyways, what are some of your other plans that you have in mind for your YouTube channel that you haven't maybe mentioned yet?
Yeah, obviously I'm always going to be about Giants.
Mm-hmm.
You're a subscriber, so I try to make at least one Giant video a day.
Yeah.
And my plans, I plan on doing a few things. Obviously, I'm still going to do the Giants show, do it fans. I'm still going to do the live streams. But I would love to do some kind of podcast. We've talked about that off of YouTube. I would love to do. I work with Fish Vegas a lot. I get to talk to them all. This is a completely different experience when you get to talk to people off of YouTube, because then you get to really get to know them as people. I think Fish Vegas is a great guy. I know that, hot takes, and he's an anti-Eli guy, so I get that. But I plan on doing a debate show with him. I think that would be fun for the Giants community to have a live debate show. There's a few things I plan on doing. Obviously, I'm going to continue my off-season coverage, and yeah, that's it, man. I'm going to see where it takes me, but I love what I do on YouTube. I love covering the Giants, and I love, covering New York sports. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I guess as soon as the season is over for the Giants. Of course, we're 3 games away from that. I guess it's going to be full on draft content.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of potential coaching hire videos, assuming that Shermer gets fired, which I think we all do. That'll be like every day, like, the new candidate. I mean, there's so many guys. I mean, Greg Roman's another guy. There's a lot of guys. So I have a lot of. I know, of course, there's always going to be rumors and news about the new coach if he fires Shermer, and who knows, maybe we're looking for a new GM. So that will be a big focal point. Obviously, the free agency period, the draft. I mean, it's going to be nonstop offseason coverage every day.
I will say that I'm worried about, as far as the Giants go, as far as free agency. I'm happy that they're going to have some cash, but I never want to see, because it doesn't usually work that well. I don't want to see them go crazy spending in free agency. I want them to do timely, pieces here and there, but I still want them to build the team through the draft.
Yeah, I'm with you. When you look, the Giants. Now, all right, let me ask you this about Leonard Williams. You bring Leonard Williams back?
Oh, I forgot to mention about Leonard Williams, because I think you're not on the train to bring him back. I am. I am on the Leonard. I am. Now, I know he didn't really play at the end of the game the other night. And do you think that the Giants tipped their hand when he wasn't out there?
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think they tipped their hand, as in, like, this? We don't have he doesn't have a future with this organization.
Maybe. Let me say this. I'm not going to say I'm off the Leonard Williams train.
Okay.
I liked when they brought him in. I didn't understand the trade necessarily, but I thought he could add something to this defense. Being that he doesn't get sacks, but he gets pressure on the quarterback. Yeah. He's very good against the run. But I don't think he's worth what he thinks he's worth. And if they could get a reasonable contract, by all means. I don't want to be spending $18 million a year on Leonard Williams.
Well, here's what they need to figure out, though, Chris, and this is why I don't get all into the whole Chase Young debate yet, because I need to know what the team's philosophy is going to be defensively. Because if they're going to keep with a 3-4, then you have to pay Leonard Williams, because he's a true 3-4 D end. Okay? If he may not fit the 4. Did I say 3-4? I said 3-4, right? He's a 3-4. Yeah, he's a 3-4 end, but he may not fit being in a 4-3 system. So if they're going to stay with this whole 3-4 concept, then I think you have to pay him, because if you can't replace him, can you for sure replace his talents? That's where you're a little bit stuck with him. I'm not saying break the bank for him, but if you're going to replace him,
I don't want to do what they did with Nate Solder. I don't want to pay a good player top tier money.
Well, I don't ever want to have the highest paid player either on the team, because obviously, does the Patriots ever do that?
He's going to want $18 million. He's not going to get it, but that's what he's claiming he wants.
Well, you got to start. He's going to start high. That's for the Giants to drive that price down.
Yeah, if you could get him for 13, I'll do it, because based on his age and based on his upside, I'll bring him in for $12-13 million.
And what's crazy to me is I thought he had a great first quarter Monday night. He was.
It wasn't just the first quarter; it was the whole game.
Well, he disappeared at the end of the game because he wasn't playing.
Well, he wasn't playing, but the two players that stood out to me the most were Slayton and him.
I thought Marcus Golden had a good game.
But I'm gonna tell you what, Marcus Golden. If we fire Betcher, he ain't coming back. because Marcus Golden is only here, and I like Golden. I actually called it at the beginning of the year. I said he's going to lead the team in sacks. I like Golden, but he's here specifically for the Betcher system.
Mm-hmm.
If you move on from Betcher, I'm not paying Marcus Golden because
no, I'm not either. I'm not either. I'm not either. The only the thing is though, Chris, is I need to know a lot of these guys, whether it's Leonard Williams, whether it's potentially drafting Chase Young. That's the one thing that's frustrating me about Giant fans right now. You're wanting to fire the head coach, you're wanting to fire the general manager, and all at the same time, you're already telling everybody who we should draft. And to me, you can't do that. Because if you have to make sure that the coach and the general manager see that yes, Chase Young should be the pick. He should be. I mean, you get what I'm saying? I understand that you can look at a player and say, "Oh, well, he's a can't miss prospect." I mean, anybody can pick him. I think Saquon Barkley kind of had that. You had to draft him. But if
no. I mean, at the end of the day,
you get what I'm saying. Our new coach, assuming we get a new coach, and maybe general manager, whoever that is, they may not like Chase Young. It's possible.
Well, anything's possible. At the end of the day, one thing I'll give the Giants organization credit for, at the end of the day, they're not going to let the fans dictate what they do.
Exactly.
For the most part. I mean, the fans, a lot of the fans wanted a quarterback instead of Barkley. Nobody, if we're being fair, some people may say that they were okay with Jones, but very few fans was Daniel Jones their number one guy. And the Giants knew they would get backlash if they drafted him. They did it. They knew they'd get backlash if they traded Odell Beckham. They did it. So I don't think if the Giants don't think Chase Young's the guy, they won't take him.
My biggest thing, Chris, about the draft is you've spent a second overall pick on a running back. You've spent a 6th overall pick on a quarterback a year later. You need to protect the merchandise. And we're not protecting it right now. And we've got to get, and if you're going to draft Chase Young, number 2 overall, fine. But you better make sure that when you kick off the 2020 season, that you can protect Daniel Jones, because if not, he already looks like he's been beat up this season as is. And there's no Eli to come in there. There's no Eli to come in there to play after this year. So you have to protect him. Have to. I don't care how great or deep.
That's going to be the focal point.
Yeah.
That's got to be the focal point. They need both. With the defense, we've got a couple of pieces, but we need a pass rusher. We need some. I think maybe it would be smart to sign a veteran cornerback, being that everybody's young and Jenkins is gone. But they definitely need to put. One thing I didn't agree with Gettleman's draft this year, and it's hard to nitpick because he had a good draft. I don't like that he waited till round 7 to draft an offensive lineman. Our offensive line is so old outside of Hernandez.
Yeah.
They got to start drafting these guys early. They got to get younger there. So,
well, all I'm saying, a lot of people keep thinking, the way I hear Giant fans, and I hear it from Twitter, sometimes I hear them on YouTube, it's like, oh, get Chase Young. Well, wait a minute. We got more problems than just a pass rush. And to me, I don't know if pass rush is our biggest problem. I know that's crazy because I thought it was a year ago, but I still think that this offensive line has got issues. And it has to be resolved.
You'd be blind to think it doesn't. Now,
yeah.
I always try to be fair. I think some of the offensive line issues have to do with, one, Barkley going down. Made us a much more one-dimensional offense.
Yeah.
And 2, having a rookie quarterback back there.
Well, let me tell you what. I said this in my live stream the other night. Barkley played his best game since coming back from injury on Monday night. I felt like.
The week before he looked pretty good too.
Well, I think it's because Eli Manning was helping the offensive line and everybody read the line of scrimmage better than what Daniel Jones had been doing. I think Daniel Jones has in a little ways hurt Saquon Barkley, and Saquon Barkley said 2 weeks ago, "I'm not hurt. I'm not. Stop saying I'm hurt." And to me, I think he's not getting the reads at the offensive line at the line of scrimmage because Daniel Jones is still learning on the fly here.
Yeah, that's not a knock on Daniel Jones. That's normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just common sense. You got a guy that's been in the league for 16 years.
Yes.
He should be better at read.
Yeah.
And that is why, and I got some backlash where most people agree with me on my video, but that is 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with me wanting to see Eli Manning anymore. It had everything to do with the development of Daniel Jones.
And Daniel wasn't ready. I know he helped win the Tampa game, but he wasn't ready.
Okay, this is what I always say. Okay, first off, they had a golden opportunity. You've got a veteran quarterback. He can learn from the bench, much like a Pat Mahomes did. I'm not saying the whole year, because I get it that year the Chiefs were competitive, and I would have wanted to see Jones in there for sure for at least 6-7 games, similar to what we did with Eli in his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
But you had a golden opportunity for him to sit and learn the pre-snap coverages, but all the Giants fans wanted to push it. Put Daniel Jones in, put Daniel Jones in, put Daniel Jones in. And Pat Shermer wanted to save his job. And he said to himself, if I throw in Daniel Jones, I have to build an excuse as a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. We put him in there before he was ready. And yes, he looked great during the Bucs game. And he looked pretty good against the Redskins. Who wouldn't? And after that, I equate it to a hitter in baseball. I know you're a big Cubs fan. A lot of these rookies, when they come in, they play really good their first 100 at-bats because the pitchers don't have a book on them.
Correct.
And once teams got film on Daniel Jones, they were able to pick up his deficiencies, and he's had trouble adjusting on the fly because he wasn't ready. And that was, in my opinion, a mistake to bring in Jones as early as they did. But, hopefully, I'm not saying he can't get good. I think he will get good in his second year. But I thought they rushed it a little bit.
I think they did too. But Chris, I think you just hit. Speaking of baseball, I think you just hit a home run right there. So I think we should wrap it up from right there because that was first. So I do want to say for those that are watching, I want to thank Chris for coming on and coming on my channel. If you haven't subscribed to the Entertainah Talking Sports, please do so. He's got great content over there. And once again, Chris and I, for those that because I saw some comments, Chris and I have always gotten along. We've gotten along. We've talked about working together plenty of multiple times, and I think that we're talking about doing different things now. I think Chris is a great YouTuber. I think he's got a great channel, and I think you should definitely check him out. And Chris, I think we definitely need to do this again, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I'm all about Giants football. I will talk to anybody that I think is knowledgeable about the sport, and obviously I respect your channel. You've been on here for however many years. What is it, 12 years, 13 years?
Oh, about 13 now. Yeah, it's way too long. Way too long.
And I'll tell you what. One guy I would love to work with. I don't know. I know he did the phone interview with you. I watched Chuck Knox's video. That Eli Manning tribute video brought me to tears.
Yeah.
And
well, I tell you what I might try to do, Chris. I'm going to see if I can't get sometime in the offseason, see if we can't get a roundtable discussion thing with the Giants fans. We can't get, bring Chuck in, bring all the boys in, and let's see if we can't get a nice roundtable discussion. I think it'd make for great content.
yeah, I mean, I think that's what, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, people like the drama, but at the end of the day, what Giants fans really want, I think everybody likes all of our chats. What I think is great about YouTube, this is what I think is great about Giants YouTube specifically. I think every channel has a different strength. I think people come to you for entertainment, and I'm not saying you don't know Giants football, you definitely do, but I think that's your biggest strength. I think people come to me for like breaking news and opinion videos. I think people come to Ron Effect because I think he's a diehard fan. He wears his heart on his sleeve. Fizz Vegas is the hot take channel. Bando's the rant channel. But I think every channel has a different strength, and I think people like to take a little piece out of every one. And I just think it's better for the Giants community if we all work together. I don't get the beef thing. I know that's part of what you do, and I get it. But I just think it's better for the viewing audience if we can come together. And I think it's better for Giants fans.
Absolutely. Well, hang on 1 second. I want to talk to you off camera, but I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We'll do this again, and I hope you guys liked Chris and I doing a little chat tonight, and look for us to do it again. Again, subscribe to his channel, and look for a post-game video on Sunday, hopefully after the New York Giants beat the Miami Dolphins. So thanks everybody for joining us. Y'all have a good rest of the night.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.